And just like that, we're live. Hey, I'm Alana, and I'm the creative director and executive producer at Filmkik. And today I'm going to be talking with Yvette, and she is a content creator and self love advocate. And we're going to be talking about going live. Sorry, my computer over here is a little too loud, my monitoring computer. We're going to be talking about going live on Instagram versus TikTok and creating content for both of them, not just live content, but also not live content. And Yvette is a creator for both of these. And I did find a YouTube page of yours, Yvette, when I was researching you earlier. So maybe we touch on that. But for now, what we're going to do is really going to focus on just really, if you're going to be doing a live and if you're interested in doing lives on Instagram or on TikTok, what is her experience doing that? What have been her successes? What have been her learnings? And let's just start. Hi.
Awesome. Hello, Alana.
Hola,
Thanks for
Yvette.
having me.
It's my pleasure to have you here. And why don't we start with TikTok? TikTok is kind of like the new kid on the block. Maybe not that new, but it's definitely newer than Instagram and Facebook. And my orchid did move. And by the way, if you guys have any questions on Facebook or on YouTube, just go ahead and ask. I am monitoring the comments on there. So if you have any questions for Yvette, definitely let me know and I will ask her. But yeah, Yvette, so tell me about TikTok.
So TikTok's pretty interesting. I ended up starting it. So I remember you came over to my house back in December when I had that car accident, and I was like, "So tell me more about this TikTok app, because like everyone's talking about it." And at that time, you had already, done a few videos with your daughters, and you're kind of showing me the ropes, and I was like, okay, like I still don't get it, but like you're like, no, first thing you need to do is just like download it and like get used to having it. And I was like, all right. And yeah, shortly after that, 1 month after, another good friend of mine who's now into like photography, he opened it up and started uploading like photography content and behind the scenes that we had done together. And then that's kind of what like motivated me to like then upload videos, like having that sort of same content. And now, since the whole corona and quarantining, it's like blown up, and it's crazy how rapidly my audience has grown there, in contrast to Instagram. So I'm definitely more on TikTok these days than on Instagram. Although I still am pretty active on stories for Instagram. But TikTok is just this platform where you kind of can just let loose. Everyone's like goofy side is out, and it's been great so far. It's been great to engage with the new audience there and befriend them and getting to know who my audience is there.
Right. Right. Yeah. So you say that, do you feel like the content that you're making for TikTok is different than the content that you make for Instagram?
Yeah, I would say so for now at least, because at least in the beginning, I did start off with like an Instagram mindset of like, okay, on Instagram, I'm kind of showing the final product, and on TikTok, let me see what it would be like to show them the behind the scenes and how I get to that end product, which is like a photograph, right? And then like in the beginning, it while it's fine and I'm not going to take anything down, I just saw like the engagement wasn't as what I thought it would be, I guess. So then I switched it around and started doing like, the trendy stuff like the dance challenges and all that. And that like, boom, like I have at least 4 videos I think that are like pretty viral, and one that's insanely, it has like this insane amount of views, and I'm just like, holy crap. So that from there, from doing the dance challenges, that's where like my following has grown, which is insane.
That's awesome. Where do you feel like your audience is a little bit more global on TikTok versus Instagram?
Yes, because once my following did grow, I so in the beginning when I had TikTok, I could not do any of the lives. And then I was like at two. 1,000 followers, and I decided to let's just see if I have the live option now. And I did. And that was really exciting. I felt like I hit like a TikTok milestone.
Definitely.
And yeah, and so I went live, and lo and behold, like the audience that I was interacting with, they were all the way from like Spain, and I was so like flattered and motivated, and it was just like an all around awesome experience because that then led to me having to switch to Spanish and then practice my Spanish, which I love. So TikTok has been a great thing, and going TikTok live has been great because I've been, polishing up my Spanish, if you will.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Pues hacemos el resto de la
Yeah.
entrevista en español.
Bueno, voy a tratarlo, pero no sé cómo voy a hacer porque ya estoy con la mentalidad de inglés.
Vamos a continuar en inglés. We do have
Okay.
some people on Facebook that are saying hi. So hi.
Hi everybody on Facebook.
Yes, that's really cool. I finally found out that I how to do the Facebook how to read the Facebook comments. Super
Yes,
easy.
I remember watching your other previous lives on here, that you had like a bigger audience on your Facebook Live.
Yeah. I think the biggest difference is that people are already on Facebook. And so they don't have to remember to click a link and go to YouTube and watch it on YouTube. They're already kind of
Yeah,
there on Facebook. And then they're like, oh, so and so is doing a live. So let me log on. I think the same with
exactly.
Instagram and TikTok. So tell me about your first live on TikTok. What did you do?
Believe it or not, I was on an aerial hoop. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, like in the circus?
Yeah, legit.
Where did you get that?
So my sibling has an aerial hoop, and so I'm in the backyard right now, but there's a chain that goes across these trees that are behind me,
Yeah.
and then it's connected to like a longer little chain, and then the hoop. And then you just kind of jump onto the hoop and do all these like tricks, or honestly just like balance yourself to get onto the hoop and you're sitting in it. So that was my first TikTok live, being on an aerial hoop, and I was playing some music, which I love because this is what I love about TikTok. It won't cut you off if you're playing like current music, as opposed to Instagram where it will just like automatically shut or turn off your live.
Yeah.
So that was really cool because it was a big vibe, and I was honestly just like relaxing, being on this aerial hoop and doing my thing, and then waiting for like people to log on my live, since I don't really like on Instagram. I can announce it on my stories that, hey everybody, I'm going live at like 3, come join me, here's a link, or just you'll get notified when I'm live. And TikTok, I don't have that platform yet, or I don't know how to do that yet, but it's fine because it's new. And the more lives I do, I think I'll build like a little community, and then maybe we'll start like a little WhatsApp group or an Instagram group, and we'll move forward from there.
I like that. So then let's switch over to Instagram. And what I want to do is I want
Uh-huh.
to show everybody your Instagram page because I love it. I think it's such a good page. I mean, the photography is just amazing. Tell me about the photographers that you work with. How do you find them? What are you looking for in a photographer when you're taking your lifestyle pictures? So good. Look at this.
Thank you. So this was my really good friend from like years now. He goes by VS Stemple on Instagram, and I believe I've tagged him on my caption there. But yeah, he's great. He started getting into photography because his brother is also in it, and then he ended up quitting his full-time job to become a full-time photographer. So he's kind of like learning
Sweet.
from his younger brother, which is like amazing. And so I got to be like the fabulous model, like the test subject, and I was like, I'm there with you. I would love to, because it's a trade, right? You're dedicating a day to creating content together. For these current pictures that you see, we spent a whole day in San Francisco, and that was amazing. So he just happened to be one of my really good friends who was into this new hobby, and I was like, let's do it because now I have experience under my belt. But what I look for in a photographer is what their aesthetic is, and if it attracts me, you know? So it's a certain type. I always use the word vibe because really it is a vibe. And if I can vibe with it, then I'm in it and I want to work with this person. So another photographer I have worked with is Emily Kim Photo, and she is the best. And she is actually how I got to meet you, which I love.
Yes. Oh, I think I can find a picture of there's us, but there's us again.
Yes, that's us. And that was a photo taken by Emily.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I love this. I love that photo.
So
We
then
have
let's
many
talk
great ones.
about you have incredible, and this one was Kim too, Emily.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I love this one too because not only was it Emily, but through Emily, I got this like modeling gig with This Is Reclaim Clothing. And Zana is the founder. Shout out to Zana. And yeah, so this day was amazing because we got to shoot on a really fun campus locally around Sunnyvale. Um, and it was my first time meeting the founder of This Is Reclaim. But it was not my first time shooting with Emily, who was a photographer for that photo shoot. So I was instantly like super comfortable, like at ease, and it was just a wonderful experience and opportunity. So that's what I love about working with, especially local photographers, not only local, but also women, so women owned business. Um, just to support them because you never know the opportunities that are gonna follow once you kind of establish a relationship with someone for like projects, you know?
Totally. Totally. So we talked about live on TikTok, and you've also done live on Instagram. So tell me the difference between doing live on TikTok versus Instagram.
So live on TikTok, no one can request to join in on your live. And what I mean by that is because on Instagram, people can request to go live with you, and then it opens up like a second screen. And then your audience, whoever requested to come live, is now live with you. And then it's like this. It's like a little interview or a back and forth chat, which I like from Instagram. But TikTok, it's not there yet. I don't know if it's gonna get there. Um, and the nice thing about TikTok is it's just a conversation. People are just conversating with you, typing questions or reacting. Because one of the things I do love to do on TikTok live is kind of get ready or be doing some sort of activity where I have music playing. And I think the second or third time I did go live, I was playing music and I was like getting ready, doing my makeup, and these wonderful people from Spain were interacting with me, and I was like, "Hey, like I'm playing some music. Do you know it? And if you don't, like, do you have any song requests?" And I'll put it in. And so we were kind of having that connection, and we were sharing music with each other, which was it's so fun, so fun because I get to hear new music and chat with them, and doing all this in Spanish.
So when you're saying you get to hear music, are you queuing up the music right on TikTok?
No, so I'll have like my phone on my tripod, and then my music will be coming from my laptop. And so that's how they can hear the audio. And I could do the same on Instagram, but then Instagram will cut my live because of
Yeah.
the music and the copyright situation. Um, so I don't know if that might be a problem with TikTok since it's on the rise and it's getting very popular. I hope not because they're doing fabulous right now. And I'm sure a lot of creators are loving that they can play their music and just talk to them and build this relationship with them, especially during quarantine. So that's the difference there with Instagram and TikTok with playing music.
Yeah, I mean, especially like DJs and people like that that are, using these tracks, it's definitely a problem for them on Instagram because they're being like completely shut down, or at least that one. I don't know if their whole accounts go, but at least, the live gets cut, which is,
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that too because I had joined in on a live where they were essentially hosting like a house party. And so this guy, he was like a DJ and he was like playing music, a lot of music from like the Bay Area, and his feed kept cutting off and cutting off and cutting off because of that problem with copyright music. And it was just like, oh, like can you just give us a break? We're all in quarantine. We're trying to make the most of it. Come on now. And it was a really good time. I mean, I didn't drink or anything. I was just like vibing to the music, kind of bopping my head here and there. And it was just fun interacting and, with people on the feed. So,
yeah. A lot of local singers and local DJs have just started going live and just doing like a cappella and it's been great. I'll just put it on, and if I'm working, the problem, I guess, with the phone versus something like YouTube is that with the phone, I have to leave it open and I have to leave it on that. So I can't do something else. I can't multitask. So if I have it on the computer, I can, leave a tab open and I can just let the DJ go live, and then I can listen to him or her while I'm working, while I'm doing something else. That's the only thing about Instagram is that I have to then be there engaging. But there have been some moments where I just leave it open. I just prop up my phone and then I'm working on the computer, and then I still get to enjoy that. So I do feel like it's been definitely on the rise since the quarantine, and I hope that we adopt that as a new way of creating content, like to continue
yeah, for
after the
sure.
quarantine. So then when you're going to do a live, and do you think I want to do a live for TikTok and then you'll think about the content versus Instagram, or do you think I want to make this content live and then it should go on TikTok or Instagram? Like, what comes first? Do you think of the platform first, or do you think about the content first and then figure out which platform is better for you?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, I guess I would think about the content, and then as I'm kind of having this like brainstorm idea, I would then kind of share it on my stories. And I'm talking about Instagram right now. I would share it on my stories, and you can take a poll, and that way you can get the feedback from your audience and see what they're thinking about your idea. And then once it's kind of like a go, then I'm like, okay, so then I'm gonna be live at said time. Please join me. And that's something that I did end up doing like the first 2 weeks of quarantine, where I myself needed to be motivated, and my outlet was exercising. And so I was sharing my workouts on live for like a good 2 weeks, and by the third week, I kind of had to take a break myself because I was literally working out every day and I had to give my body a break. But that's like the fun thing about creating content, where on Instagram you can like engage, have that feedback. They can vote on a poll, and then you're kind of like set to go, and your live is dedicated to that one idea, which I love. Whereas TikTok, they don't have the stories option right now, and that's okay. And I do like going live on TikTok because it's kind of like, so you're gonna surprise your audience, like they're gonna tune in, and then and slowly when people start tuning in, they're gonna know like what it is you're talking about. Or it could honestly go a different direction where when your audience starts interacting with you and you start engaging, and then you build on this conversation, that might lead somewhere else where you didn't think in the beginning, which I love too.
Right. I like that as well, because you're creating content that the people that are watching are interested in, and as a person watching, you also get to drive the content, which is great. Like, you're not just watching something that was pre-recorded, and it's a bit of a level playing field. You could talk to Ricky Martin, like he could be doing a live and you can be like,
Yes.
what are you doing? Where's your son? He's so cute, or his haircut or whatever, and suddenly he's answering what you have to say. And it does help drive the
Yeah.
conversation. And as a content creator, it helps you when people engage and they leave comments, and comments that are relevant. It
Yeah.
you know, it definitely helps as a content creator. Really, like, okay, this is what people are interested in. Then let's talk about that. And so you're not just talking to. It's not a monologue. It's a conversation, which is great.
Yeah, and that's something that I do love in general when I'm engaging with my audience. And it was a really nice experience on TikTok, maybe like a week ago. Excuse me. I kind of went live. I was, like I mentioned, I was playing my music, getting ready, and then people started coming in and engaging, and the audience kind of like started to navigate the conversation, and we got into like relationships, and someone on my live, well, he then I learned that he was from Spain and that it was like 8 o'clock at night over there, and it was like my morning or afternoonish. So anyways, long story short, it was really beautiful because you got to connect with this individual from like the other side of the world, and connect with something so like personal, and you got to share, advice or tips on like how to or how not to cope, which was great. And then we ended up talking about, well, I ended up sharing a poetry book that helped me through that journey of, breakup and how to deal with it, how to cope, how to, move on and type of stuff. So that was beautiful. And I honestly started to tear up too, because just having that connection with like a random individual, and how we're all pretty similar and we're all also going through this like pandemic together, and to be able to just connect in that way, it was just rich for me. It was just so beautiful.
Wow. And you're having this very personal conversation in a very public forum, which is very interesting. But it's this like basic human um, need moment. There's a
Yeah.
word for that. That's really cool. That's really cool. So, in terms of going live, other than
Hmm.
the content being help kind of driven or help people watching help drive the content and all of that, do you feel like it has helped you increase your number of followers on TikTok?
I think that's a yes and no. um I think the more that I do lives on TikTok, yes. And then no, also because my following is also growing through those viral videos that I have right now. Um, but that is a reason I do want to do more lives, and I will on TikTok, is so then because now I have this like huge following. I think I'm at like 3,000 right now, which is
Woo!
insane and
And you
wonderful
just
at the same
started
time.
this. I think that's
And I
important to
just
point
started this.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if you guys at home don't have a TikTok right now, now's the time, because everyone's on it, and if you have anything to share, now's the time. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I do want to do more lives on TikTok, so then my audience can also know me as a person and get to know me and who I am and what I like stand for. Because like right now it's like funny videos and doing duets, and I love that because I also get to channel my like inner actress, like my inner childhood dream
Yeah. Yeah.
with that platform. But yeah, it would be really awesome to have more like personal conversations like I did with those people from Spain, and connect on that level. And it's also interesting because you can't see them too, right? And they're tuning in and they don't know who you are. They maybe have a glimpse as to who you are based on the content that you've provided, but really they don't know you. And so for them just to tune in is fabulous, because then you can build that relationship with them.
I agree. Um, that sorry, my mind went someplace else over here, and we're live, so there's nothing. I can't just be like, all right, wait, let me ask you that again, which is
No,
which
it's
is
okay.
beautiful because I feel like it's a real conversation. That is what you're having. You're having these genuine
Yeah.
moments, and I would say that since the quarantine, my usual tools that I use to have high quality in my content were kind of taken away from me, you know, and some of it was my crew,
Yeah.
gear, studio, time alone and in a space, like all of these, brainstorming with people in person about what we're going to be doing. A lot of that
Yeah.
has been taken away, and so quality not being kind of like a barrier, really. I mean, it's a fun barrier, right? It's a cool puzzle that we get
Right.
to figure out so that things can look great. And you've done shoots with us where we have a $60,000 camera with a $30,000
So
lens
fun.
on it. So you know, and from that to we're doing this using our
At
webcams.
home
And
DIY.
yeah, it's a big difference, you know. But
It
it's
is.
really about the content. It's really about what we're saying. But I have a question for you. Now I remember what I was going to ask you. So you mentioned
Yeah.
that, you know, you're doing all these like fun videos now and fun lives, and you're doing like acting and amazing dancing. I'm enjoying all of them. Um,
Thank you.
you said deeper or more meaningful content, or more real or raw or whatever content. What is that for you? Like, where do you see your page going now that you know that you have people that are paying attention, that are listening? What do you want to say?
Yeah, so really just opening up my personality to my TikTok audience, as I have been doing on Instagram on that platform, and bringing it over to TikTok, and just really bringing my positivity, my what's the word? My own experience with, being in a long-term relationship and then having that end and how I coped and where I am now and like my journey to be at this being confident and knowing who I am, knowing your self-worth and just really advocating that on my second platform. I think that would be like stupendous and a wonderful thing because it doesn't only go for like women, but that is like a large audience of mine. It is women. And so that's something I want to bring over to form. I mentioned before, personal and I've like funny story. The last time I was able to get my nails done before this quarantine, I ended up, really making a connection with my nail tech over, her going through something similar. And now we've had like conversations about it, like through social media, which has been a great way to stay connected with her and kind of, I guess in a way, I am helping her cope and get through it. And she can reach out to me because I let her know, whenever you need to, like, please reach out to me and like I'll talk to you and like I'll help you through this. Because so sorry, I kind of rambled, but that is what I want to bring over to TikTok is bringing, you know, confidence, like my self-love advocate and just like telling people to know their worth and I know we're in quarantine too and just don't text that and don't worry, like, you're gonna be fine. If anything, what a blessing to be confided in your space and with your thoughts, to then pick up a poetry book or pick up some sort of an outlet to help you cope with it. And so in the future, that's what I want to make my lives about because I know a lot of people are kind of going through something and I just want to be that like outlet to like give me like tell me what you're going through and we'll have a conversation and we'll go back and forth on what works, what doesn't, what's helping you, what's helping her, not just me, you have like other people on the live and we can share ideas back and forth. So
I like that. I think that's, I mean,
that's what I want to do with TikTok.
that's awesome. Well, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that progresses. And I feel like very often we look at other people's accounts and we think about how we would want our account to look like. And we, but we have so much that is just us, you know? Like
Yeah.
I could have the account of some other filmmakers that I know, and their everything is just like all of their great stuff. But I also enjoy posting some of my not so great stuff because I had fun doing it, and I feel like in a way the quarantine has let me do that because I don't First of all, there's a little bit more alcohol than normal. So by the time it's like 11, I'm like, you know what? That's a great thing. I'm just gonna post it. Whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
and I feel like in a way it has become more free and more genuine
Hmm.
because it's just like this is just us and we are all going through the same thing. Like we are all
Yeah.
stuck at home. We have a lot of people that we know that are getting sick. I've already known several people that have had
Yeah.
COVID-19, and
Yeah.
it's a really hard time for everybody, and I feel like it's time to take those masks off. And honestly, let's just leave them off. Let's just be ourselves.
Hmm.
And, with all of our imperfections, and that's what makes us, and I think, worthwhile. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And
Yeah.
misrepresenting in a way, everybody always talks about how social media people are kind of like always putting up this perfect face or whatever. But
Hmm. Yeah.
um and it's true. Of course it's true. And it's not to say we're going to all, make it all doom and gloom or anything, but I feel like it's sometimes it is about the things that aren't so perfect. And I think that's when people really
Hmm.
connect because they feel like there's a real person on the other side of that and not just, this perfect personality.
Yeah, I agree. And also that's part of the reason why I've kind of have not been posting because you probably know this where on Instagram you kind of your job is, and especially as a content creator, is kind of you post to stay current and to not lose that engagement with your audience. But at the same time, how you brought up, like, we're all going through this pandemic, like, I'm not going to be posting like a perfect life because it's not perfect right now. And a lot of the times when I do post, like, it comes from the heart and I have to be in the mood and motivated and inspired to then share because I do aspire to be as authentic as I can be. And which is why I do love the feature of stories on Instagram, because you can kind of show that, like, human side of you. And I wonder if, like, TikTok will come up with that sort of a feature as well. Um, because yeah, maybe people don't want to be making content all the time. Maybe they just want to check in with the audience, or with, like, your family too. Oh, I just got like a low battery um icon. I don't know if that's me or
Uh-oh.
you. Probably me.
That's you.
Oh no.
Well, we have been talking for 32 minutes. So I do want to ask you if somebody wanted to start doing lives right now on Instagram or TikTok, or anything or anywhere,
Yeah.
what kind of advice would you give them?
So I would say just do it. Prop your phone up, open up the live feature, and see what happens. If you're not really comfortable being in front of the camera, that's fine. Maybe you can distant your phone a little further back, however your comfort zone is with, like, seeing yourself. And honestly, yeah, playing some good music, or having some sort of vibe in your room or the area where you're going to be hosting your live. That way, you're making yourself comfortable, and you're in your own space, and these are people that are going to tune into you, and that already makes you an interesting person, if you setting up your stage, almost, if you will. And then just seeing what happens, and being honest, be like, hey, this is my first live and you're here and I don't know what I'm doing, but that's okay. Where are you guys from? Starting with that, I would say.
I like that. Okay, well, any other thing you'd like to say or add? You there? Okay, you're
Yeah.
thinking. Sorry.
um you know So no, it's okay. It was kind of cutting off on my end. But yeah, I would just say, stay motivated the best way you can. Whether that's literally just doing a few jumping jacks, because that in turn, gets your heart rate up and that makes you sweat, and then you have all these endorphins. And then, you might have started with like 10 jumps, and then that turns into like 20 or 30, and you just end up feeling really great, and that kind of jumps your start to your day or midday. Because this happened for me, like, yesterday. I was kind of like not in the mood, and I was like, you know what, let me just play something fun on YouTube, which was like a dance video, which then made me dance because I love the song. And, I started dancing for like an hour or something. And then I felt better about, my mind. I felt better in my mind. And then I ended up getting ready, which, in quarantine, that's like, wow, you got ready, you put pants on, congrats. So, just get yourself up, play some music, do a little dance because even if you don't dance, maybe that'll make you smile because of how silly maybe you think you look. But that's gonna put a smile on your face and that's gonna, stimulate good endorphins in your brain. So dance. Dance like no one's watching, I would say.
I like it. But if you're live, everybody's watching. I'm kidding. I like it. I like that.
True. And then
I
they'll love your moves.
They will. Maybe they join in. Maybe that's what we'll do next time. We'll do a dancing one with some Bad Bunny or algo así.
Oh my gosh, please. I would love
Let's do
that.
it. Let's just do it. Let's do it. J Balvin, Bad Bunny. Un mix lo más
Yes,
bueno. All right. Well, thank you so much, Yvette. It was really
absolutely.
great having you. We have some traction on Facebook, which is cool, and we have 5 viewers on YouTube. Crazy. Crazy. It's incredible.
Yay.
Yeah. So I really want to thank the people that watched and thank you for your time. And I think what we're going to do next is you're going to charge your phone for a little bit and then we're going to go live on Instagram because we're going to do a little bit of a comparison because we are experimenters and we're curious and we want to
Yes.
know this versus Instagram. What's the difference? And I know that on Saturday I had both going and I could definitely tell that there was a difference here. Obviously, we have a lot more control over certain things than on Instagram. You just kind of have like the one thing, but then that one thing is
Yeah.
done really well and you have that engagement. So let's see what happens. But thank you so
Yeah,
much
that
for your
sounds great.
time over here on YouTube. And
Thanks
I'm
for
going to
having me,
close
Elena.
anytime. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the people that care and that have followed me in my journey. And I think that's really cool. I really enjoy watching other people's journeys as well. I think that sometimes, especially, I guess everybody, but I want to go from like beginner to advanced professional instantly. And there is a journey to get there. There is a process. And when you're doing something like this, you're going through that process very publicly, but it's the only way to do it. It's the only way. Like, I have to be able to switch the show and produce it and put it on YouTube and put it on Facebook and see what's going on. And in order to understand how to run a live show, you just have to do a live show. And in order to understand how to make a film, you just have to make a film. And the first few are going to suck. And in order to know how to ride a bike, you have to learn. It doesn't matter what you want to do, you are going to suck at the beginning. So I'm very happy that there's a few of you that are patient with me while I suck at this. And I am just so happy that at least my guests don't suck. They are fantastic and they're interesting and they're doing great things and they're staying happy and motivated during the quarantine. And tomorrow I'm going to be interviewing Jessica Hurst, and she is the owner of a fantastic private school here in San Jose, or I think technically Santa Clara. And she's going to be talking about how she has transitioned her kindergarten through 12th grade private school entirely online. She has all her teachers and all her students and what that process has been like. So I'm really excited about that one, and I hope that you guys can join me. And with that, good night.